My name is Ian Stalker. I'm the chairman of Plateau Uranium, which is a Peruvian-based company in the uranium business. And I've been in the uranium business for over 20 years now, starting off in the late 90s with a company that's now known as Langer Heinrich that had a project in Namibia. I find uranium a particularly interesting business because its relationship not just to the commodities business but to the energy business as well. Our flagship property is in Puno district of Peru, which is up in the Macusani Plateau, fairly high elevation, about 4,000 meters. And we've been working on this project for the last 12 to 18 months. And over the last 6 months in particular, fairly successfully pulling together all the uranium mineralization or known mineralization in the Macusani Plateau into a single company. So that now we have a total uranium resource of over 124 million pounds in the 43101 compliant resource category. Further to our combination of Macusani, Yellowcake, and then what was previously called Azincourt resources or Azincourt uranium, this total resource that I just defined earlier has made an extremely attractive opportunity within the uranium sector. The opportunity is such that in fact insiders within the company regard it as one of the best they've seen, and we have been buying within the last 12 months our own stock. Well look, first of all, for our company, what makes it outstanding is one, the jurisdiction. We're in Peru. Peru is regarded as a mining country. There's a large number of operating mines and a fairly large plethora of projects as well, which really tells you as an investor and tells me as a manager that things can get done within the mining sector. That's a positive. The sort of period of permitting that's required is relatively short, providing you do the right things as you'd expect every company to do. So we can believe that it's feasible to have this operation or this mine, this would-be mine, in operation by about 2018 at the latest. Over and above that, of course, we're in the uranium sector. And for me, I can see all the telltales that the uranium sector is on the turn, that the uranium price is going to start moving northwards rather than the dripping penalty we faced in the last 12 months where we continually lose value. And that's sort of exhibited by a range of interesting articles. One, recently we had Cameco, for example, saying that in their view, and they're not known to be the most bullish of companies, but in their view, there is a need for at least four cigar lakes. Well, I believe here in Peru, we could be one of them. We're in a very low-cost environment. We're an open-pit mining environment, and significantly, the uranium itself, when we mine it, lends itself to a very low-cost production rate. So when you start putting those factors together, location, quality of the asset, size of the asset, I mentioned at the start of this interview that with 124 million pounds, well, significantly in that 124 million pounds, there is 80 million pounds within the compliant resource that runs in a grade greater than 450 parts per million. Now that is a grade that's significantly higher than a lot of our competitors have been in the past. For example, the Mantra deposit in Tanzania, the Husab deposit in Namibia, and even the Uramin operations, which were all sold over the last few years from say 2007 through to 2012. So I just think from an investment point of view, from a management point of view, quality technical project, got all the right attributes, got the right cost base, the right size, the right opportunity growth, and we're in the right country. So for me, great place to be. In 2015, we'll continue with our work in understanding just how we can unlock value in this project that is known as Plateau Uranium. We've put out the new resource, and our next effort is to find an engineering approach that will allow us to highlight the economics in a much more transparent manner. The earlier study that was done in 2013, beginning of 2014, was in a much smaller resource. So as we put our numbers together now from the resource development, we now go over to the engineering, mining, extraction, and processing of this particular quality. And I think before the end of, just at the end of the summer period, start of the autumn period, there should be some very interesting results come out that will, make no mistake about it, be one catalyst for the change in this company's valuation. One other thing that's interesting to note as well in terms of just catalysts, we mentioned briefly about Cameco's review of the marketplace and why they think there's a need for 4 cigar lakes. But equally, there has been statements in the press and in the public domain from some of the Chinese companies highlighting that they also have a desire to look at increasing their ownership of uranium resources. Well, again, without prejudging anything, I would just like to highlight that we are in a position where we will become one of the companies that has to be looked at going forward. Regarding investment, here's the upside from my point of view. Right now we're trading at roughly 10 cents per pound of uranium in the ground. Well, those companies that I mentioned earlier, Mantra, Husab, and Uramin, all sold in terms of valuation at a much more higher value per pound in the ground. For example, Mantra sold almost at $10 a pound. So when you see that cumulative difference between our project valuation and theirs, and then you look at the basics, the real technical basics, and you see that our grade is higher, our quantity of pounds in the ground is higher, and our jurisdiction is probably easier in terms of mining regulations and mining rules. So therefore it's not hard to imagine from an investment point of view that the quality of this asset will eventually feed through to a higher price for our share.